Hello, everyone. I just wanted to make a quick video on this topic about feminism and virtual reality porn. Vice just made an excellent, this was excellently done, little mini documentary on the future of virtual porn and with innovations like the Oculus Rift, which Facebook just bought out for $2 billion. This is the future of porn, gentlemen. And I myself, I love porn. I want to be able to use this with the women I'm involved with. I want to be able to use this myself, but I think more important than whether or not men can use this effectively to get sexual satisfaction along with their girlfriends, or even for gay men, I guess even their boyfriends. What's more important is that men will be able to use these things to simulate sex by themselves, for themselves, without the need of a woman. And if you watch the documentary, it's here. It's here. It has arrived. This is not some grainy, pixelated, fake-looking virtual reality porn we're talking about. Some of these images are very, very realistic, and they're only going to improve over time. And what's also been developed is certain companies. This is a fascinating little documentary. You really need to see it. Certain companies are developing, I don't know if you would call them interactive virtual reality fleshlights, where these things are kind of, if you have somebody on the other end, a female that you're involved with, for example, she can actually interact with a vibrator, I guess, that's linked to the internet that controls the movement of your fleshlight. It's pretty amazing. Pretty interesting stuff. The whole point of me telling you this is that I of course thought, well, if this has been invented and if this is something that's showing up on the internet and on a popular channel like Vice, then some feminist is already pissed off about it. So I Googled, virtual reality porn and feminism, and this is what I found. I found an article, a feminist article by thefeministtimes.com, right? And it's talking about VR porn, and some of the excerpts that I found were pretty fascinating. And this goes to show that feminists, and of course women at large, are very intimidated by men experiencing sexual gratification without them. They are very intimidated by that. And of course, there's going to be regulations put on this. I always say that our incursion, the human species incursion into virtual reality, is not an escape from reality, but merely a supplement to reality, in addition to reality, and an attaché to reality. So, look, gentlemen, what's being said here. Right? And she's talking about the VR porn here. She says, the kind of point of view pornography made it easier to produce with tools like Google Glass seems a natural fit with another interesting piece of technology currently in development, Oculus Rift, bought by Facebook for $2 billion, which is a virtual reality headset that blocks off all vision except for what's displayed on its 3D screen, in order to immerse the user in a virtual world. It's an ideal environment for porn consumption, provided you can be sure that you won't be disturbed, and that Oculus VR manages to reduce the likelihood of simulator sickness. Unfortunately, current examples of erotic content for these devices are designed only for heterosexual men. How horrible. The VR Tenga demo, which was made for an Oculus Rift game in Japan, links the actions of a virtual girl with a contraption meant to hold a penis. Wicked Paradise, which its developers call the world's first erotic virtual reality adventure game, is also focused on a heterosexual male audience. Perhaps that's because the vast majority of people that are going to buy it are heterosexual men. And continues and says, the founder has said that future content will cater to other demographics, but presumably that can only happen if the first episode is successful. As porn becomes more entwined with technology, the low numbers of women working in tech and the popular myth that women aren't interested in things like video games could stymie the rise of feminist porn. Feminist porn. That's an oxymoron if I ever heard one. You feminists are about the most sexually hung up people on the planet Earth. And of course you have your little fringe of, sex positive feminists, but they're also extremely hung up on sex and really just focused on using sex to mitigate their penis envy and using it to express their power, I think, over men. But that's a whole nother topic. Continuing on, and we'll get into that topic maybe in another video. Continuing on, it says, immersive pornographic experiences, perhaps with the addition of smells and tastes, which IBM predicted in 2012 that computers would soon be able to understand, will also raise similar concerns to violent video games, which are thought by some to encourage violent behavior. There's no evidence of this. There's no evidence, as Thunderfoot has done in or mentioned in previous videos. There's no evidence that video games cause violence, and there's no evidence that, quote, sexism in video game causes sexism against women. So again, she says, will also raise similar concerns to violent video games, which are thought by some to encourage violent behavior because their consumption is more active than that of violent movies, though research has so far failed to prove a link. So why are you even mentioning it? Feminists already debate how porn affects men's behavior towards women and their expectations of their sexual partners, and more immersive experiences could exacerbate those effects. This could be particularly problematic for extreme pornography, which will only be easier to create and view as technology improves. As CGI approaches photorealism, we face the grim possibility of realistic computer-generated child pornography. Okay, so the vast majority of people are going to use this as a means of having adult sex. Sure, there will be some people who, for whatever reason, have some kind of attraction towards children, who understand that this is illegal, who aren't going to do this, right? And if they do make that jump from creating virtual child pornography to the real thing, then of course we prosecute them to the full extent of the law. But the reason that you're making this link, the reason that this feminist is making this link, is to connect the heterosexual male drive, the adult heterosexual male drive, with pedophilia in order to stifle any kind of debate on these topics, right? So for those of you who enjoy things like, rough sex, rape play, rape simulation, all consensual, of course, this is something that you can use to do that with if you don't have a willing partner. And of course, it's 100% victimless. So long as, of course, as long as you're with a real partner, you understand that if you want to enjoy that kind of behavior in your bedroom, you have to gain consent. It's just that simple. It shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. But these feminists are intent on controlling. This isn't about protecting women. This isn't about protecting children. This is about defining the male heterosexual drive as something that is errant, that is something that is deviant, and something that is sick, and something that will lead to the abuse of children and women. It's really pathetic. It's really pathetic that you're that intimidated by male sexuality, feminists, that you have to stoop down to these extremes to vilify the male heterosexual drive. Right? To all you sex positive feminists, why is this a problem for you? I thought you were sex positive, right? Well, anyway, gentlemen, watch that documentary because it's really good. It's really well done. I would recommend it to anybody. Thanks for listening, and more to come.